storms on the unit, throwing a fit at the nurse's station, like screaming like a... Hello, welcome to Nursing with Professor B. My name is Bridget. I have a master's degree in nursing education. I'm also a family nurse practitioner. In today's video, I will be talking about where I experienced a very hostile work condition and what I did as a result. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you turn on that notification bell. First, let me start off by saying that there are some great medical doctors out there and that they're not all egotistical, stuck up, or rude. But there are a few that, because they have MD behind their name, they think that we are their minions, that we are less than them, and which is not accurate. When we go to nursing school, we study very hard. We have a different role than the physician does, but it does not mean that we are less than them. We are collaborators with them and working for the greater good of patient care. That being said, some view us as inferior. And I'm a big believer that no one is inferior to anyone else, right? I believe that we as human beings are all equal, whether it's a janitor, the housekeeper, dietary services, phlebotomy, whoever you are, it's not a totem pole. We are all on equal playing ground because we are all humans, and therefore we should all be treated with respect and be treated as the professionals that we are. So that being said, I had just got report on a patient. It's been a while since I was a bedside nurse, but let's say that I had just got report at 7 o'clock in the morning. I started report, and sometimes report can take 10, 15 minutes, depending if it's a whole new batch of patients that you're getting. So I had just got report on my patients for the day. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, this specialist, he was a nephrologist specialist, storms on the unit asking to see the nurse for room so-and-so. I look down, throwing a fit at the nurse's station, like screaming like a toddler with his, screaming that we're incompetent, that we don't check orders, this and that, right? When I look down, unfortunately, I had the patient he was screaming about. So I go to the nurse's station. I'm like, I have so-and-so patient. How can I help you? He's like, why has no one I put this order in? Granted, this is my first day on after being off. So it's not like I didn't fulfill this order the day before, right? There was an order to get a urine sample from the patient and it had not been obtained. Now, mind you, sometimes when physicians put orders in, I don't know if they're because maybe they've never worked bedside, they don't know how difficult some things are, to the feasibility of it. So just for me being there for 10 minutes, I knew that this patient was incontinent. So the night nurse unfortunately had not told me about this lab order. So I told him in a very calm manner, I'm like, look, I am just getting in. He goes on ranting and screaming. I tell him, listen, I just got here like 10 minutes ago. I'm just getting here now. I was not aware of this order. Night shift didn't tell me, by the way. Some nurses are excellent and really good at communicating what needs to be done, but I was not communicated this way. I was like, I just got here. This patient is incontinent. So I can imagine the reason they have not got your urine sample is because it's been hard to get the sample. So we're probably gonna have to straight cat this patient. So do you wanna put an order in to straight cat the patient for a urine sample? Because when someone is incontinent, how am I supposed to get a urine sample if they're confused, they're bedbound, they're just incontinent, they're just peeing themselves, basically, that's what that means. And we can't just straight cat patients. We have to get orders for everything. So I said, would you like to put in an order to straight cat the patient? You do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so I'm getting a verbal order from you to put this in that we can straight cat this patient. That being said, I had to separate myself because he was just screaming like so loud and he was being so rude. I stayed calm and professional the entire time. After that, I continued about my day. I went to the Pyxis to go collect my medications. He was so rude that the charge nurse came in that day, and she was a charge nurse that was floating from the ED, And she was like, I can't, she's like, I can't believe he screamed at you like that. That's very unprofessional. She said, are you okay? So I really appreciate that she checked in on me and she asked if I was okay. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, for some reason, it didn't even faze me that day. Like, I was not fazed one bit, but it also is not, that's not appropriate. And that should not be happening. She said, there's a way that you can write up physicians. It's anonymous. You just write them up and you say what occurred. And this deters them from future behavior like this occurring. And you best believe I wrote him up because I am not about to just, I'm not going to just take. And the other thing is that this physician had a history of verbally abusing nurses. So it just wasn't me and it just wasn't one time. If I have a physician that is a sweetheart and just has a bad day and screams at me one day, which shouldn't be screaming at me, period. But okay, I'll let it slide. But if someone has a pattern of repetitive behavior that is inappropriate, of course I'm going to do something about it. And this is what we as nurses should be doing. We should be uniting, and we should, instead of just complaining and whining and saying, oh, he yelled at me, that's not fair. We need to do something about it. We need to take control and show them that this is not appropriate. So again, I'm not anti-physician, I'm not anti-medical doctor, but there are situations where things happen and it's not appropriate. This urine culture was not my fault at all. It was my first day on. So in a calm manner, he could have asked, look, I've ordered this. How come it hasn't been done? I could have said, well, I apologize that it hasn't been done. I will get it done for you today, right? Simple communication. We're both adults. I come from parents that are very, very blunt. We have a very dry sense of humor. Sometimes I have no filter, which is not a good thing. You need to have a filter. I'm not saying that the way I am is how you should be, but definitely wrote up this position. His behavior did change. He was more appropriate. Fast forward maybe like 2 months down the road, I come in because I was being checked off for something and I was wearing like civilian clothes. I wasn't wearing scrubs. I was behind the nurse's station and this nephrologist comes in and he's like, oh, hi. He made a very sexist comment and he said something along the lines of like, oh, nurses should always dress how you're dressed today instead of wearing scrubs. And then me like deadpan. And keep in mind, he, like, the nurses station was full. It was full of nurses. And me deadpan was like, oh, would that make you treat us better? When I tell you, people were like, yo, like, he got all red. Everybody was like, did she just say that? So I don't know what took over me, but at that point in time, like, it was a really like hard jab. But when I tell you that after that moment, like and then I was really good friends with the physician that worked at that hospital. And when I started shadowing him when I wanted to go to school for nurse practitioner. So when I tell you that that man never again gave me any lip or disrespected me and was actually very cordial, like no other complaints. I mean, and the thing is, the way to make headway in the field is to not lose your cool, not yell at them, not get on their level, but show them that you are a professional and that their behavior is inexcusable. The other situation I had where I filed a report against a physician was because. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you hit the like button, make sure that you subscribe, and make sure you turn on that notification bell. It helps me tremendously and it means the world to me. Thank you.